I'm going to cover some best practices when it comes to text layers. So the first best practice that I'm going to cover is about the kind of sizing that you choose for your text layer. So here you can see we have two headers. They look very similar, but in actuality, the structure is a little bit different. Here you can see that we have the text. However, due to the fixed size over here, you can see that the bounds of this text layer is actually not exactly where the visual part of the text is. So it's not actually hugging the text. Now, this is not something that you would typically do, but what I've noticed is that sometimes you might just want to resize this. For example, you want to check if it works on 2 layers or 3 layers, you know, or just one single line, and then you leave it as this and it will stay as fixed. Now, what's going to happen is that this is going to ruin some of the layer structures that we are going to be adding. So for example, here we are going to want to apply auto layout, which is very useful for responsiveness as covered in our previous webinar. And you can see that once we have applied auto layout, over here, the design has been ruined due to the sizes of the text. So instead of that, what we want to do is to ensure that we use the appropriate text size for the text layers. Here you can see that I have a single line of text. So I will choose the auto width setting. This is useful for single lines of text. Same thing over here and over here. So this ensures that what you see is kind of what you get. So you're not misled by the size of this home over here without realizing that the text layer is actually really large. So over here, I'm going to apply auto layout and you can see that it works beautifully. Let's have another look here at another example. Here you can see a paragraph text where we are using the fixed size. Instead, what we want to do is to actually use the paragraph sizing over here, which is auto height. Now let's see what happens when you use fixed size. So for example, one use case is where you have some contents that you want to populate dynamically. So for example, this text might actually come from your database, and you want this to be flexible for all kinds of different text. So here's what happens when I start to add a few more lines of text. You can see that it maintains the fixed height of 132. So the bounds of our text is actually indicated by this rectangle, whereas our text is actually spilling out over here. So this is not something that you want to do. You might see this and your users might notice this as a bug where your text is running behind your button. So instead, what you like to do is to change this to the auto height setting. And there we go. So now even as we change the size of the text by reducing its content or increasing its content, it's going to automatically adjust the height so that the text actually bounds your text. So do remember to always use the appropriate sizing option for your text. Finally, I just want to point out one little note over here. So this is a setting that sometimes is going to show up in your design as a wrap. So let me just quickly show you.